Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to Elegant Sentiments today. I'm Sheryl Abernathy. I'm the owner of Elegant Sentiments, and I am so happy to be here sharing another card that I've made with you today. Let's see. Hi, Lorraine. How are you? My night owl buddy. Thank you so much for being here. So let me go ahead and get going. I've got, excuse me, for this evening, I've got two of the Pick by Paula matte blending inks from Lisa Horton Crafts. I have Hopper Emerald and Gaugin Grapefruit. And then I ordered, actually by accident, because I didn't change my status. I got the February crate from Spellbinders. And so I have from that the press and foil of the month. This is called From Ink to Petal, and it is a really cute tulips. And then it's got 3 sentiments that you can either ink or foil. Spring, happy Easter, blessings, and wishing you a full day in bloom. So we're going to do some hot foiling with this. And then there's some coordinating stencils from the Ink to Petal set. And there's 3 stencils, but there's 5 areas that you will ink with those stencils. And then I use the 3D embossing folder of the month, and it's called Shady Leaves. So this is, these are the products that I'm using this evening. And for my foil, I've got, this is a roll of copper foil. This came in a pack. I think it had 4 different metallic foils in it. So I'm going to be using the copper foil for this one. Okay, and then let me show you this sample. I'm being courageous here and changing up the colors, so we'll see how it works out. I think it's going to be fine, but you never know. So this is the sample, and you can see where I did the foiling in the background, and then I did a couple little foil strips on here, and then the 3D embossing. Let's see if I can. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better at that angle. But that is that's the card for today. And I'm trying to decide if I want this panel bigger, and I think I do, but we're gonna have to see. I just don't know. So I've got my foil machine heating up, and I want to get my A2 panel. And I'm trying to decide, well, let's go ahead and foil it first, and then we can decide later how we actually want to use it. So I have to go with this. It comes with this little, I don't know what you call it, a grid or whatever. And because I want to put it on the plate this way, I'm putting it down on my paper backwards. So I'm trying to decide if I do it, I'm going to put it up a little bit. And then if I decide I want to trim some off, I've got some, nope, you know what? I'm just going to put it on here this way. And then I can just use the grid marks that are on this little template. There's little green lines. You can see them there. I'm going to turn it this way. Well, I saw them for a second. There's little green, let me move this way. There's little green lines on this template, and it's the size of an A2 card. So because I want to foil directly onto this paper, I need to use the, well, I call it the flip method. It's got another name. So I'm going to actually put my foil plate down this way. And so I need this there to line up where it needs to go. but I need to do it underneath so it'll actually be on my paper. So once I get that lined up with this, I'll kind of know that that is the right, and I want it. So it's going to be at the right spot on my card when I get it done. So I think I'm going to move it up a little bit. No, I'm going to leave it. Just leave it. Because I keep, everything in me wants to move this up higher, but it's just like, no, leave it there. And then however, I may not get all of the leaves this way, but I'm going to leave it there anyway, because when I did it before, and I got to be careful not to move this too much. And then I've got some hinge method. That's what this is called. I've got a piece of tape here, and I'm going to put most of the tape onto the plate, and then I want to leave some room so that I can slide my piece of foil up underneath there. And let me get my, there we go. And I'll just cut a piece bigger than I know I need. And then we're going to put this piece backwards from what we would normally do, because our plate is down, and you always want the shiny side towards your plate. So this is going to go underneath like this onto the paper. And I just want to make sure that I've got this moved up all the way. I can move that out of the way now. And where's my little pokey tool? I just want to make sure I have this moved up all the way so I'm getting the full part of that top flower like that. Okay. And then I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way and bring in my glimmer machine because it's nice and ready for me. Move my inks out. Okay, and then we got to flip it over, and we're going to foil it that way. So I've got my machine. Well, I had it on, just turned it off. And as soon as the platform goes to ready, which won't take too long because it's been warming up while I've been talking this whole time. So we should be pretty well set. Give me a second here, get myself some water. Feeling a little parched. Here we go. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Lorraine? You having a good day and enjoying your evening and resting, I'm hoping, in bed. Okay, so that's ready. So we'll go ahead and put the timer on. And get my plates out of the way. Something tells me I'm going to wish I moved that up higher on the plate, but on the paper, but we'll see. If not, we'll have what we have. That's the reality. Because I did this so far, I did it early in the week, and I need to stop doing that because I always forget what I did. So we'll see. Be adventurous. And I can't decide. I might glimmer the sentiment onto this paper, or I might use, well, I've got a sentiment here. Oh, that's why I wanted to do it down lower. Okay, so we'll see. I have some foiled sentiments already. So this is done. The timer has stopped blinking. So I can go ahead and add my 2 plates. I've got the hot plate and then the regular embossing plate that comes with the glimmer machine. We'll pull this out and I'll just run it through my Platinum 6, which is over here to the side. And if I did this correctly, I'll have my flowers where I want them on my panel. So let me move this over here. Turn that off. And see how we did. I'm trying to be really careful with this tape so I don't pull my paper. And I took the tape because this is it's not really sticky, but I take the extra stick off of it before I put it on my paper like that. And let's see, and there's our foiling. So it turned out just the way we want it. So I'm going to bring in my little craft mat, and then we can do the stenciling onto the panel. And thank you, Lorraine, registration plate. I kept calling it a template. And you can put this on your better press as well. But all I needed was to make sure that it was going this way. Let's see. So my stencils, where did I put them? Here they are. It's been a busy day. I was getting a little worried that I wasn't going to make my live because I ended up having to work over, and I work from home. All I had to do was come upstairs. But when you're working and you look at the clock and it's 6:40 and you're still working, it's a little nerve-wracking. Okay, so this is stencil number 1, and it's our green. It's our green ink, and so we're just going to line this up with, there's little corners on the stencil, and so I'm just lining it up. It's sized for an A2 card, so I'm just going to line this up with these corners, and I'm going to use some tape because it's not got a whole lot of area to grip. And so for my leaves, I'm using the Hopper Emerald. And so it's midnight on Friday. Woohoo! Well, happy Friday to you, Lorraine. And I'm just going to add a coat of green on here for the leaves, and I'll come back and darken up the base a little bit. And I thought this is kind of an interesting design. It's kind of modern looking, I think, with the way they did the press and foil plate. But of course, you don't need to use that. If you don't have press and foil, you can just do the stencils and still get a really nice look. And I think I got a nice little coating there. I'll take a smaller brush and just add a little darker around the base of the leaves. Yeah, I never know what anything is called. I call stuff thingies and thingamajobs. Okay, so that's it for stencil number 1 with our base leaves. And then we'll bring on stencil number 2. Now the next 2 stencils have 2 spots on them. So we'll do stencil number 2 first, which is at the top. There's little numbers on here. So I'm going to do stencil number 2 first, and then I'll do stencil number 3. So we're going on with stencil number 3 and getting that lined up with the corners of my paper here. And I'll put this on the side so it doesn't go moving on me. And we'll ink these up the same way. Trying to be careful with the top of the stencil so that I'm not inking onto my panel, because I don't want that. And using just the emerald green, and I'll use my little stencil brush to make these entire leaves darker. This is the 1-inch Pro Blend that I'm using right now to get a nice little light coating on there. And then I want these leaves to all be a little bit darker than the first ones. So I'll just add a little bit of green on these. More solid than the other ones were. I have to be careful and hold this down because this piece wants to lift up. I'm trying to be cautious and remember that. And then I want to make sure my stems are nice and solid. My tulips are. But no real method to the inking, just getting some green down there. This is a nice, bright, cheery green. I think it goes well with tulips. And we're going to have some Gaugin grapefruit tulips with this one. We'll see. I did pink for my sample with silver foiling, and so we're doing grapefruit and copper. So I'm going to, that's it for stencil number 2, and I'm going to clean this off before, I'm not put my fingers on this, before I stencil the tulips. So I'm going to clean this stencil with some alcohol. And wipe it off. And I'm going to make sure I wipe both sides because I want it, don't want to messing up my inking or my foiling. So it's good and dry. Make sure. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and do stencil number 3. Move this out of the way. So I'm just moving it up to 3, and we'll put down, as soon as I get it on there right. And make sure, I want to make sure that the tulips are where they're supposed to be. That looks about right. Oh, I just moved it. Okay, and stick some tape on that stencil, and then we'll go on to grapefruit. And I'm going to use just a little light coating, and you know what? I'm going to cover that because I'm so clumsy. Yep, I did get that brush clean, Lorraine. I just saw your comment. Yep, I did just what you suggested, and it worked just fine. I try not to do that. This ink pad is I'm getting my money's worth out of it for sure. I use it a lot. I'm just going to keep adding till I get a nice light color on there, and then I'll make some of the other layers darker on the tulip petals. But there's quite a bit of ink on this brush. I can, if I weren't so impatient, I would just keep going around, because I can get a lot of color just using what's on the brush. Okay, that'll be it for stencil number 3. Sticking with the grapefruit, because the rest of the stencils are all for the tulips. So take this one off and we'll add stencil number 4. I think I'm going to like my grapefruit tulips. Okay, so stencil number 4 is here. Oh, come on. It wants to stick where I'm not wanting it to stick. Okay, there we go. And bring this back up here, and then I'll use the smaller brush so I can get a little darker color onto this part. Having it darker at the base. And then lighten it up as I go up. And then do the same over here. And add a little more color. Same here. A little more, I don't want it to look white. Bring those colors in together. Okay, and then I'll do the last little bit for the tulips. And we will have our panel done. So easy. And so we'll do this one. And line that up. And then we will come in with the grapefruit again. And just add some color. And bring that down. And I think I'll put a little bit here. I think it'll be. So those are our tulips all colored in. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So there we have our pretty panel. I like those colors together. So there's our panel with the foiling. And then, so now I want to decide, do I want to trim this down or do I want to leave it? For my sentiment, I have some copper foiled sentiments that I've already done, and I want to put them at the top here. I was thinking in here. So if I trimmed this down a little bit, what I'm trying to decide is on my sample, I put this little rim there, and then I trimmed it down, and I'm not sure I want to do that though, because I kind of like this like that. I think I like it just like that. And maybe make it a little smaller. Whenever I have some copper foil, that might be what I'll do. I think I'll leave it like that and look for, oh, if I don't have copper foil, I know what I do have, because I can trim this panel down a little bit. Let me look at my copper inks from Lisa Horton. Let's see. We've got bronze, pumpkin, and copper pot. Let me see if one of these might, see if I have my swatches done. That's going to be too light. Bronze might be too dark. Let me see what copper pot looks like. Copper pot just might work. Let me see. Where's my brush for my metallics? Okay, where's my copper pot brush here? No, that rose gold might work too. Let me pull that rose gold brush out just in case. We'll try copper pot first, because I think what I'm going to do is trim that down, and if this looks the way I think it will, I'm going to make an edge of copper pot, trying to make sure. Okay, I can just do it with the sentiment. Yes, that's going to do it. So let me get these other inks out of the way. And you know what? I guess this is the day for me to mix up my brushes. I picked up my rose gold brush. Now let me do it just to make sure that I've got all copper pot ink on there. I don't want to be disappointed. I think it's going to be fine, but oh yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to get another A2 panel, and I'm just going to ink that around, get rid of these other ones before I put the wrong color on there. I don't know if I got enough ink on here. I'm going to try just to ink it across this way. And if I don't have enough ink, if my pad's not inky enough, which I don't think it is, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. See what we end up with. Or maybe I turn it on the other side. Maybe there's more ink over there. Yep. Get the other side so we can get more ink. And no, that side is really dry. Let's try this one. There we go. Just want to get the edges, because I'm going to just trim it down maybe 1/8 of an inch, I'm thinking, on the sides. So that should be enough. And then get some water and clean this up I know, I hate to do this. Here we go. All right, and so then I'll trim this down to, let's do four and what is this, 4 1/4? So I'll do 4 1/8. And I'll take a little bit off of each side and a little bit off the top and the bottom. I'll make sure it's where I want it. Nope, that's not where I want it. 4 1/8. So I'll take it back to there and trim just a little off each side. And oh, did I do that? I didn't. That's not the way I wanted to do it. I did it 8 the first one, so I'm going to have to do this at 4 by 5 1/2. I think I still have enough. 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'll take 5 1/4, take a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch off the top. Yeah, I think it's a pretty spring color too, Lorraine. All right, let's see how we like this. Now that we've chopped it up, we better like it. And we'll do it like that. That's really pretty. So, and then I'll have my sentiment here. So that's how we're going to do this one. And then I can pop up my sentiment. So I need a card base. So let's go take this off. And it's a little different than, might have to trim a little after the fact here. It's a little different than the sample, but I don't want to trim off that card base. That panel, I just like that panel, just the way it is. So you've got 2 different ways to do the same basic design, but 2 different ways to do it. Thanks, Lorraine. I'll trim up those edges. Oops, I got ink where I don't want it. Where's my, I don't want ink all over my card panel. Okay, and then we'll add this. There we go. And then I could decide, I might do the, I hope you're smiling. Not sure. But let's get this one here first. And let's see, I need a sand eraser because I have a little smudge right there. It's very teeny, but I see it. There we go. Okay, and then my sentiment, I'm going to add some foam strips. Let's see. Let me get some out of my drawer. I just add foam strips to the back of my sentiment and pop it up a little bit. And I think we'll have a cute little card. Let's go with, let me see, 1 or 2. I think starting out with 2 down this way. That will work. And get my paper snips. And am I going to make it there? Let's see. Yeah, it will be just fine. And over here, I think I'm going to have to do just one here. Trim that a little bit. I'll move, actually, if I move it down, I should be okay. Well, move that down a little bit. Nope, it still needs a teeny weeny little trim. And then I'll do a couple little pieces. Not from there. How about, let's see. Yeah, that'll work. I'll just do two. Let me put this where you can see what I'm doing. Although you can't see my fingers in the way anyway, can you? Okay, and then peel this apart and I'll do one little bit. It's a little fiddly, but not much. Because I want this popped up. I think that'll be all I'll do, actually. I'll get on there. And we'll snip you right there. Okay, now all I gotta do is take all these 50,000 little pieces off. And then I'll be all done. Let me clean up just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so where did I put my, here it is. Don't need you. And just take all these little bits off. Somebody needs to come up with a magic way to get these off the back once you get them down there. Make a lot of money if you could figure it out. I think I'd be a customer for sure. There we go. All right. So now we have to put this on, and then I have to decide on gems. I could go without them actually, but why do that? I don't know. I don't think I have any gems that are gonna look nice with this, because it's, I love this coppery color. Okay, let me see. Let me pull out some gem colors that might work. I really, to be honest, I don't think I have anything that I'm going to like with it. I have a lot of different, I need something that's kind of clear. Maybe a clear, no. Maybe these, no. I was thinking maybe iridescent, but that's not looking so good. Let me, oh boy. Let me see what I might have. I got a lot of colors here. I was thinking maybe the iridescent. Oh, that might be okay. But if I had something that was maybe that dark might work. No. No. Okay, what else do I have in here? I've got, no, that's too pink. I got a bunch of colors. Or maybe we just will go with that. Oh, smoky topaz. Let me see. Not that these are a must, but I had them in my original. I just can't decide. I don't know. Maybe I will not add gems. How about that? Because I can't find one that I really like. Oh, this might be pretty. Yeah, that'll be pretty. I'll use that. Okay, after all of that. And if I put them down and don't like them, the nice thing is I can just peel them right back up. But I just thought they would add a little extra something. So we'll just put a few around, put a couple down and see what we think. And one in there. I think because of that peachy color, this might work actually. Because we've already got quite a bit of little bubbles. So this may work okay. And one down there. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's cute. And it's sparkly, adds extra sparkle. So there we go. So thank you for being here, Lorraine. It looks like it was just you and me, but thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's fun to be able to have somebody to talk to as I craft along. But thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I know I'll see you on all the Lisa Horton things that are going on this week. But I hope that anybody that's watching, that you have a fantastic week, and that you find some time to craft a little kindness for yourself too. And we will see you on next Thursday. Be sure to check out my blog, elegantsentiments.com, and also my Facebook page, Elegant Sentiments Limited. And we will see you next Thursday. Have a good week. Bye for now.